I'll never forget when I was a kid, and I was probably about 13 years old, and my dad, to this day, refers to that phase in my life when he talks about or talks to me about that, or talks to other people about that time in my life. He says, "I almost lost you." He says that to me all the time. He says, "Brian, I almost lost you when you were 13." And the reason why was I was hanging around a pretty rough crowd of kids. I mean, these kids were, riding skateboards and doing all that, but some of them were huffing paint and doing some other stuff. And, thankfully, at the time, I was just kind of like, nah, no thanks. But, if I'd have stuck in that crowd long enough, how many of you think that I might have started picking up on some of that stuff? How many of you guys think that if I'd have stuck around in that crowd long enough, it would have been too long before I started huffing paint, smoking cigarettes, and getting into drugs and all the rest of that stuff at 13? Because the people that you surround yourself with influence you, don't they? They have an impact on you, don't they? And that's what was going on with me when I was 13. Now, I got lucky because I met another kid who I liked a lot, and he happened to hang around with a guy named Chad Brunot, and Chad's dad happened to be the pastor at the local Bible church up the street, and I ended up spending a lot of time around there and getting in the Word and hanging around with people that I just thought were better people. And so I made a decision to spend more time with them, and my entire life shifted and changed. And at the same time, my father introduced me to the game of golf, and that common link of the game of golf is what bonded my father and I and allowed us to mend that relationship that we had. And that's really, I attribute those two things to what kind of saved my life as a youngster. But the reason why I bring all of this up is because I hear my father's voice and ringing in my ears. You're guilty by association. If you hang around with turds, people are going to think you're a turd. Right? Those were his words. And if that's true for us as children, how true is it for us as adults? Is it any less true? What do you think? The answer is no. In fact, I would attest that the answer could even be more true for us as adults than it is as kids, couldn't it? Because you see, as adults, we tend to hang around with people, right, that match where we are in our lives, don't we? Right? And they do the same thing. And so what ends up happening is we end up becoming more and more and more like the company that we keep. And we do become guilty by association, don't we? And we do become more and more like our friends. We do become more and more like the people we spend the most amount of time with. And here's the reason why. Ask yourself this. What are your friends or your family members or the people that you spend the most time with? Think about the 5 people in your life you spend the most time with. What do they have you watching? What do they have you listening to? What do they have you reading? What do they have you talking about, thinking about, worrying about? What do they have you planning for? What do they have you accepting in your life that you might not accept if someone around you had made it acceptable? Think about that one. How many of our standards do we sometimes hold until we get around someone who has a relaxed set of standards and we'll relax ours to meet theirs? Because why not? If they think it's okay, then maybe it is. Does that happen to us? Yes or no? So you see, the reason why I'm bringing this up to you is because I talk to a lot of people every day who are really, really striving to become wealthy or better their lives or become really healthy or really more spiritual or work on their relationship. And I'll ask them, how many people do you know in your life right now that are really, truly trying to become wealthy? It's shocking how many folks the answer is none. And think about it in your life. How many folks do you have around you that are truly trying to become wealthy? Now, some people are like, of course I want to achieve more. Really? Well, just getting up and reporting and clocking in and clocking out, coming home and a couple of beers and on the couch and watching the game and pass out at 10:30 and get up and do it all over again and TGI Friday and hump day and all that, that's not exactly striving for more. Forgive me if that's offensive, but I believe that's the truth. People that are striving for more, it's typically pretty obvious because they'll use prime time for things that are goal achieving, not tension relieving. Isn't that true? So who do you know in your life who is truly trying to become wealthy? Who do you know in your life that is truly trying to become healthy? That is truly doing everything in their life to become healthy? And if your goal were to become more healthy or more fit or more well, wouldn't you want to spend more time with them? You know, I have a friend of mine who's a personal trainer. And this guy's phenomenal, man. He was a former member of the German Special Forces. The guy is fit as a fiddle, man. He's just like a piano string, man. The guy is wound tight, skinless, in shape, incredible. Just being around that guy makes me not eat certain things. Right? I'll go out to dinner and I'm about to order the Big Mouth burger, but if I'm at dinner with Pity, no, I'm ordering the salad, right? That's the kind of influence that the people you surround yourself with have on you. So take a hard look at the goals and the aspirations and the things you're going after in your life, and then ask yourself if the associations that you're holding closest to you reflect that. And if they don't, then we have to make some tough choices, don't we? And we have to begin realigning our associations and redefining our associations to be in alignment with our goals and dreams. And if you're unwilling to do that, your chances of achieving your goals and your dreams, your aspirations, decrease so exponentially that they become almost diminished altogether. Because the single most important factor in whether or not you get to where you're trying to go is the company you keep. And that's the dose.